Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 29th of November 2018. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's afternoon session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few charts, and see how they're performing. Today is a bit of a different day for me here, where I am doing this video from our other office here of JFD Brokers. So yep, a bit of a change of location for me. So yep, I hope everything runs smoothly and okay. So yep, but as always, before we start looking at the charts, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay guys, so now then let's jump into the charts straight away. So the first one I want to touch on is Nasdaq 100 here. So I was talking about this one on the 26th, so basically 3 days ago I was talking about this one, and look where it's getting now too. So we had a nice run here. It continues to push higher, managed to move above this 21 EMA here, shown as the yellow line, and we can see it on the daily chart here, and continues to push higher towards this short-term downside resistance line taken from the 3rd of October, from the peak of the 3rd of October, of course. So of course it's not far from it's not far from this downside resistance line, not far from touching that line, but as you can see, currently it's kind of getting held here by this little area of resistance near the 6,915 level, which was marked here by the highs of the or the high of the 14th of November. So quite an important area of resistance. You can see that this is where kind of since the 14th of November the index was trading lower. Of course, if this is gonna overcome that barrier, the next area that we're keeping an eye on is, like I said, this downside resistance line, and of course this little area around here, around the 69.55 level. So keep your eyes on that one. But of course, if this continues to push higher and we get a nice pop here above this downside resistance line, then yep, further acceleration to the upside could be possible, and this is where we could then target the levels like the 7,085 or even the 7,205 here. So probably the last one here is the more important one, as it was marked here by the high of the 17th of it's the 7th of November, so from which the index managed to slide lower here, managed to reach the year's lows. So for now we're going to be very cautious. Certainly this continues to look very bullish, but because we're kind of getting close here towards this downside resistance line, and of course this resistance line where it's currently sitting at the 6,915, we're going to keep on monitoring it very carefully. Let's assume if, let's say, today it continues to hold, the 6,915 level continues to hold, we could see maybe a bit of a drop here further down. But as long as it remains here on the daily chart, as long as it remains above this 21 EMA, well, we're still going to aim for higher levels, and maybe this is something left for tomorrow. We could potentially see this push higher here tomorrow. That's only, okay, again, I'll repeat myself, that's only in the scenario if we don't get a touch of this downside resistance line today. So for now, be very careful with this one. It's quite overextended right now, I would say. I mean, today, this day's candle the low of this day's candle was already around 6,715 mark, something like that, maybe just a few ticks above that. So in a way, we already did about 200 points here on the yesterday here, I'm talking about, of course. So if we continue pushing higher here today, further up here, then yep, we could maybe see a further break here above this downside resistance line. But if it remains below this, then yep, we could see maybe a bit of a slide here back down. But again, as long as it remains above the 21 EMA here on the daily chart, then we'll consider another move higher tomorrow. So at the moment, long story short, guys, still looking bullish, but again, keep your eyes on this downside resistance line. Jumping into US oil here quickly, so this one is showing good performance today. Certainly managed to reach the new lows, but quickly reversed back up here, and now looking at this daily candle, we see that it's in the positive zone. Certainly we do have some good areas of resistance here near the 52.80 level. Now a nice good pop above this doesn't really mean that, I mean, we will just continue traveling higher here in the long run. For us, let's say from the longer term perspective, we need to see a nice good break here above the 54.80 level, approximately there, and of course a break of the downside resistance line, and only then we'll consider further acceleration here to the upside, and we'll consider levels like the 57.90, which was the high here near the 16th of November, or even actually going a little bit higher here towards the 61.25 zone. So for now guys, be very cautious, be very careful. Still we remain below this downside resistance line, the short-term downside resistance line, and let's say if this commodity manages to push a little bit higher here but gets held here and struggles to overcome this downside resistance line, then yep, we could see maybe another leg of selling here. Maybe the bears could take advantage of this higher price and push the commodity back down here, where we will aim for these lows here, the 50.15 level, or even slightly below that, the 49.25 area, approximately there. So again, guys, for now we're seeing a bit of recovery here. Of course not much, but still we do have some strong areas of resistance here above us. So yep, this is where the index this is where the commodity could stall initially, and of course if this could also stall near this downside resistance line. So that's why we're going to be, for the upside, we're going to be looking at a possible break here, and a move above the 54.80 in order to kind of consider higher levels. Jumping into one crypto quickly that I really wanted to touch on, and that's Bitcoin. So looking at this daily chart, certainly you can see that yesterday we had a nice push here, a strong push to the upside, managed to reverse from these lows near the 3660 level, and now we're back above the 4000 level. So currently I'm moving higher, but I can see today it kind of already got held here near the 4480 mark. So this is going to become our level to watch. In a way, for those who want to round it up a little bit here, you could in a way put it towards the 45 mark, 4500 level. So a nice good pop above that could confirm a forthcoming higher high. Since this reversal we had here this week, we could see another higher high, and we could continue pushing towards the 21 EMA, which was near the 4800 level. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. Certainly at the moment it's picking up the pace, it seems like that, but again, for the downside, for example, for the very short term, from the very short term perspective, let me just quickly jump into a 4-hour chart on this one, just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. So in a way, if this drops below these lows here near the 4190 or even the 4150 area, something like that, approximately there, guys. So we could in a way see maybe this one traveling back down towards the 4000, the psychological 4000 level, or even actually going lower here back below the 4000 level and touching these lows that we had around the 3660. But again, I'll repeat myself, for such a scenario, for this downside scenario, we need to see a break below the 4150 area, something like that, approximately there. So keep your eyes on that one. So certainly it's quite an interesting one, given the fact that it's kind of picking up the pace again, but again, everything can happen still overall. Looking at the overall picture, this still remains kind of bearish. So yeah, we need to see stronger moves higher here in order to kind of start considering much higher levels here in the long run. Jumping into a few pairs quickly. Now, looking at the EURJPY, now this is a very interesting one right now, and certainly I can see that the euro is kind of picking up the pace and dragging the EURJPY a little bit higher, but today it's kind of yesterday was met here by a little bit of selling here to the, where it managed to drop towards the 128.77 area, from which it kind of reversed back to the upside a little bit. But looking at this 4-hour chart, we can see that it's currently getting held here by this 200 EMA. So this is what we're going to keep an eye on, and also just to kind of confirm this this important level here around the 128.90 is also the pivot point. We've got the pivot point, so also coinciding with this 200 EMA. So keep your eyes on that one. If we get a nice push above this, this could potentially lead this one back towards the highs of the the highs of yesterday, towards the 129.20 area, approximately there, maybe just a little bit above that, the 25. And if we get a nice pop above that, then yep, further acceleration to the upside could be possible, and this is where we're going to aim for the next potential area of resistance around the 130.15 zone, so which was marked here by the highs of the 6th of November. So basically the beginning of November was marked by these highs, by this high, sorry, but again, we'll consider that level only if we get a nice pop here above the 129.20 or 25 area, something like that. So you be the judge, you see what's more convenient for you guys, but just I'm giving you rough guidance here to what to expect. But for, of course, again, for us to kind of consider this this level here, we need to see a good strong push here above the pivot and also above this 200 EMA, shown as the black line here on the 4-hour chart. On the downside, if this suddenly drops below the 128.77 mark, certainly we're still above this short-term upside support line. So in a way, we could get a nice test of that upside support line. But if this doesn't hold, now what you could have a look at here is, of course, let me just adjust this line here. This is what you could keep an eye on. You could keep an eye on this 128.25. A nice good break below this could open the path towards the lows here. Let me just kind of mark this one a little bit. So this is a very good potential area of support here near the 127.80 zone, something like that. So you could in a way keep your eyes on that one if we get a nice drop below the 128.25. But again, like I said, at the moment we're still kind of above this short-term upside support line, and as long as it remains intact, we should be aiming for higher levels, guys. So just be very careful with this one. For those who are more on the conservative side, you could in a way wait this one out here and wait until, let's say, if this moves back towards here, back towards the 129.25, and then if we get a nice pop above that, then you could probably consider moving in here with a long and aiming for higher levels. But for now, in a way, just we could continue monitoring this one and see how this performs. If this drops below the 128.77, 75 area, something like that, consider this area, this upside support line, as a possible testing area for this pair. Jumping into USDJPY, also a very tricky one. Now, looking at this 4-hour chart, you can see it still remains above the short-term upside support line running from the low of the 20th of November, but you can see that it struggled to overcome this level here, the 113.40 zone, approximately there. It struggled to kind of get above it, so now it's kind of reversing back down. Let's see if this actually moves lower and tests this upside support line again. If it does, certainly don't wait. Probably at this point you should probably wait. You should wait because we might get a rebound here and a push back up, and certainly if we do get something like that, let me just actually put an arrow here for our future reference. So if we do get something like this, like a rebound, then of course we could consider the this 113.40 level again, and if this time it manages to break this level, then yep, further acceleration to the upside back towards the levels here that we saw around yesterday. And this was a very nice area here where you can see that yesterday it managed to reach this downside resistance line. So in a way we could start targeting that downside resistance line again, but this is only a scenario where we get a nice drop here lower, a rebound from this upside support line, and a push back above the 113.40 level. I do understand that it's a lot of kind of rules that, and a lot of points that it has to tick on the, a lot of bullet points that it has to tick off before kind of reaching that one. But nevertheless, guys, this could be a possible scenario. In terms of this line breaking, and if we get a break below this line, keep your eyes on the 113.05 level. A nice good drop below this could potentially open the path towards the area here, towards the 112.65. But if that doesn't hold, further declines could be possible. So of course, we're just going to go step by step for now. Just going to aim for this level here, the 112.65, but only if we get a drop here below the 113.05 level. So keep your eyes on that one. This level, the 113.05, acted as a very nice area of resistance here, and also good area of support in the past. So quite an important level to watch. But for now, guys, like I said, keep your eyes on this upside support line, the short-term upside support line. If let's say there's a chance that we see a nice good pop straight away here above this 113.40, now this is where you could then target the 113.65 level straight away. So keep your eyes on that one. Let's see how this plays out. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on before I finish my video, and that's the euro dollar. Now, the euro dollar here, yesterday, of course, you can see that we had a nice rally here to the upside, managed to break out of this falling channel formation, but today we reversed back down, tested already the upper bound of the falling channel, from which it kind of reversed back to the upside and tested the 200 EMA. So what we're going to keep an eye on here at this point, we're going to just keep on monitoring. For us now to get comfortable with higher levels, we'll probably aim for a break of this area here around 1.14 level. A nice good break above the 114 could open the path towards the 114.25, or even going higher here towards the 114.60. So yep, for now be very cautious, be very careful. Certainly this is kind of stalling right now, so in a way it could go back down here to test the upper side of the falling channel, but again, be very careful. I mean, we could see maybe a reversal straight away back here, and if we do see something like that, keep your eyes on the 114. A nice good break above that could open the path towards these higher levels. But let's say if this suddenly drops back inside the falling channel formation, back below this upper bound of it, then, well, I mean, it could be a bit of a worry signal for the bulls, and we could see maybe the bears kind of taking advantage of that and pushing the pair back down. Maybe even going towards back towards the 113.25, or even actually testing the 113 level again. So the 113 kind of continues to act as somewhat a psychological level, somewhat like a magnet for this pair. So yeah, guys, for now, be very cautious in this one. Keep your eyes on the upper bound of the falling channel. If suddenly, let's say, this reverses back down, but if it moves higher, keep your eyes on the 114 level. Let's see how that plays out. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful, and like I said, it's a bit of a different location for me today, so apologies if something was wrong. But if you want to join me tomorrow morning in my Traders Espresso, and that's 7 o'clock GMT time, so please, yep, tune in, and we'll have a look at other instruments and other charts and other commodities and currencies and indices and all that sort of stuff, guys, as usual. So for now, thank you very much, and bye-bye.